I lived down there, and we used to go into Reynolds Channel. I had a little drag net, which is a two-man operation. And we would take the net and go down and net spearing just by walking into the water with the net and corralling the spearing in and bringing them up to shore, just like, you know, you would. But I did this when I was 10 years old, 11 years old.
As a kid, you just learn certain things, I think, of a way to fish. You know, my father told me you take a spearing, put it at the end of a hook, and put a bobber, and you can catch a snapper blue. And the bigger bluefish are in, you can use this bait. And, one of the things that we used to do all the time is we used to grass shrimp for weakfish. And it's something that I understand they used to do a long time ago on Long Island, but they don't do it anymore. What we would do is go out and either seine up, you know, as many grass shrimp as we could, or later on when we got lazy, we'd go buy, you know, 5-6 quarts of grass shrimp from somebody, and we'd set up the grass shrimp in a cooler filled with ice. Take ice, you layer some newspaper, wet newspaper, and you put the grass shrimp on top of that, and it'll keep them alive.
And I would take my bike and go out onto this pier in Atlantic Beach, and I would catch eels. And after I caught the eels, I would bring it back to the fish market, and he would take the eels and he would give me more shrimp. My two favorite fish are Blackfish and Fluke. I like to fish bottom fish because the seasons are different.
When I was growing up, there wasn't really a striped bass fishery. We caught different fish. We'd go for bluefish and fluke, and weakfish was a very important fish for me growing up, but striped bass, not so much. And it wasn't until I was in my teens that we started actually, you know, seeing striped bass, you know, seeing catches of striped bass. My friends started targeting them.
Yeah, also, I used to love flounder fishing. There aren't any around, so I can't say I still love it, but I don't do it because they're not here. 20
years ago, 30 years ago, the summer flounder, the fluke population was being decimated. You know, it was really being hurt hard. 30 years ago, I wouldn't see whales. 30 years ago, I wouldn't see dolphins come up in my striper slick. I think that our nation's resources have rebounded. I think that we have seen great strides in what we've been able to do.
We would go out in the winter time, and like I said, we would bang clams over the side, you know, bang them with a little bat or something and throw them over for chum. And the codfish would come. And a lot of times it was just my father and I that would go out. He would take me, I was his fishing companion. And then I hooked into this codfish, and I was bringing it up, and I just could not get this fish to the surface. So my father said, let me give you a hand, and he started bringing it up, and he saw the white of the fish, and he said, this fish is a really big codfish, and it got off. So that was one of the memories I have of losing a really big fish.